Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another Plenty video. Today I'm going to be talking all about my growing goals for the year of 2023. If you've been on my channel before, then you would know that I love setting Plenty goals. Like I said in my video where I was reviewing my goals for 2022, I find that it really keeps me inspired and passionate about my houseplant collection. I like looking around at the plants that I already have and deciding what my vision is for them. It gives me a lot to look forward to, it gives me a lot of Plenty tasks to work on. I have picked out 11 goals that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and they are plant specific, so I do have 11 different plants that I'm going to be just really focusing my energy on throughout this next year. And it's always so fun to look back on this video at the end of the year and see how I've done, whether I've met the goals or not. By the way, don't mind my droopy Amydrium back there. We will talk about her. Yeah, my plants are definitely not looking their best right now. They really took a beating when I was sick, and because of that, I feel like it's really the perfect time. A lot of these plants that I chose for this video do just need like some extra love and attention, and yeah, I just feel like this is the perfect time to kind of get me back on track and re-inspired and everything. So yeah, grab yourself a cozy beverage. I'm so excited to chat with you and show you these plants, but before we do that, I'm going to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor. This video is kindly sponsored by Harry's. Now, I've talked about Harry's on the channel in the past. They are an awesome brand that sends quality razors right to your doorstep. I've been using Harry's for coming up to a year now, and I still absolutely love them. The difference in quality is so apparent in comparison to the razors that I used to use. They recently hooked me up with a new handle, and I picked the color Sage. Of course, how gorgeous is that? Fit for a plant queen, am I right? What I really love about Harry's is that they use premium quality blades that are crafted in their own factory in Germany. They get such a close and comfortable shave. I genuinely look forward to using my razor, and I find that I also have to shave less because the quality of the shave is just that much better. Harry's also believes in fair prices for everyone, so you won't find a pink tax on their products. I find that a lot of razors that are marked up and marketed towards women are honestly just like bulky and not that effective anyways. This one is just simple, sleek, and works very, very well. Of course, everyone can do whatever they like with their body hair, but for me, shaving is just a nice little pick-me-up, a nice little self-care moment, especially in the winter time. I find that it just makes me feel so much better. In the starter set, you get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, a blade cover, and their foaming shave gel, which also helps you get a really close shave. I really like that product as well. You can get that whole starter set for only $5, which is an amazing deal, so if you would like to redeem that, head over to harrys.com/wildfern. Thank you so much to Harry's for sponsoring this video. Now let's hop back into the plants. Okay, so we are starting out a little bit rough. Goal number 1 is to revive my Begonia grave feather. Oh boy, maybe revive isn't the best word because it's alive. It just has been really deeply neglected. It looks awful. Like, look at the growth that is coming out on this plant. It's just like the tiniest weird little leaves. This plant has not been getting enough light, and I just haven't, I don't know, I just keep pushing it onto the back burner, and I'm like, I'll deal with it, I'll restart it later. And part of the reason is because it's hanging on, and I know that Begonia are really easy to propagate and to restart, so it hasn't felt urgent, but you know, I definitely need to make it a priority because this plant just, it deserves to live its best life, and right now it's definitely not, especially in the spot it's in for the winter. Like, yeah, it is just not, I don't know what inspired me to put it there, and then it just was going downhill and I just left it for way too long. So 2023, I am going to be restarting this plant, growing out a nice, hopefully full, lush, healthy pot. This is one of my favorite begonias, so I do really want to see it thrive and be in the best shape that it can be. I'm very confident that it will bounce back and that I will be able to meet this goal. I just need to get cracking and actually do it. I'm just gonna chop this up, propagate, and then pot up new cuttings, and probably do that a couple of times actually, because all of these leaves are not looking good. So eventually I won't have any of these leaves in the new plant, but it's gonna take like a couple rounds of propping and potting, if that makes any sense. So yeah, we've got a journey ahead of us with this one, but I know that the result is going to be stunning because this plant is just so gorgeous when it's, you know, doing well. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. Okay, next one you guys might be a little bit surprised about because I don't talk about this plant a ton, but it actually is one that I really, really like and I want to focus more attention onto, and it is my Ctenanthe Liberciana. Now, this is another one that's just not looking its best. We have some crispy leaves, we have some yellowing leaves, and in general it's just kind of like not looking great, like it's flopping around, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of variegation. I was talking in a video, I don't know, in the past like month or two about how this plant just doesn't really have variegation, and I was like, why would that be? Like, what's going on? And then people were commenting and they were like, oh, move it to higher light, and I was like, oh my goodness, duh, like why didn't I think of that? I have this pretty much in the dark and I'm like wondering why it's not doing well. Like, hello, fern. It's so silly. So I would really like to have a full pot of this, get some more variegation coming back, and just see this one, you know, I just want to see this one really thrive. These can actually get pretty large leaves, so I would like to maybe see an increase in size on the leaves and just have a full pot, because you can see this one, it's looking like kind of spindly. Like, I have a few separate plants, or a few separate shoots at least, coming out of here, but like, what is this? Like, it's like one long stem and then it branches off and then it's just way too heavy that it falls over. So I'm just not happy with the way that this is looking in general. And I think that this has so much potential, you guys. I actually think that this is quite an underrated plant, because this has been one of the easiest like prayer plants that I've ever had. It's a Ctenanthe, but it's in the same family as, you know, Maranta and Calathea and everything. And I do feel like they're quite easy to grow, and the variegation is also stunning. It's usually like a bright yellow. I mean, mine looks a little washed out, but bright yellow variegation, you know, very on trend right now. So I just think that this has a lot of potential. And yeah, so the route that I'm going to take with this is I'm going to propagate it. This is kind of the theme of my life right now. I have a lot of plants that I need to just propagate and start over, but I'm going to be propagating this and rooting the cuttings and then starting a new pot of this. I'll probably go to soil. This is a pond mixture right now, like it's in a semi-hydro situation, a self-watering pot, which I really like, but I don't know. I'm just kind of moving away from trying to do semi-hydro. I feel like I always have better luck just with potting soil, so I don't know, maybe I should just stick with that. So I'm considering growing this plant in soil, which I don't know if I've ever done. I think it's actually always been in pond, so that will be interesting. So yeah, another kind of project for me throughout the year, I'm also going to need to find a new location for it to live that has higher light. If I want, you know, this goal to come to fruition. So yeah, that's that one. Just grow a nice, lush, healthy pot of this. I'd like to see increased variegation. I would like to maybe see increased leaf size. We'll see. And just have, you know, a more lush plant in general. So that is my second one. Okay, number 3 is regarding my Amydrium medium. So let's grab her. Yeah, this is not looking good. To be honest, I don't often have plants looking like this. Like, I know I'm an underwaterer, but for a plant to get to this point is pretty uncommon, and it is very sad, but I will say that it has happened a couple of times with this plant. Like, she's very, very thirsty, and I don't know if this is an Amydrium medium thing or if mine just really needs to be repotted. I honestly don't know. But I have watered her and she will perk up. I'm hoping, because this has happened, you know, a couple times in the past and she has perked up, so don't be too worried. But my goal for this plant is to get it on a better pole. I just hate this pole situation. I can't even really wet this pole, so you can see I I was wetting it before it got like super unstable, and now I can't really anymore because it's grown so high. But oh my gosh, it looks crazy. But you can see it was, when I was able to keep the pole more moist, the stem was growing like right along, right into it. But now that I haven't really been able to keep it moist because it will fall right over, so I can't really get it moist. But yeah, now that I'm not keeping it moist, it's not attaching anymore. It's like growing off of it. You can see there's like, I don't know if you can see, but there would be like a million areoles coming out of there. You can see them trying to form. Because this plant basically needs to climb. Like, you're just gonna get runners if you don't have this on a pole. So yeah, it sucks that it's not attaching anymore. And look, it's even trying to put out a new leaf right now. The poor thing. I love this plant so much. I think that it is so gorgeous, so cool, and it kind of makes me sad that I have it on this pole. I wish I just had put it, again, I find myself in this situation, you guys, and this is because in the past I used to make these skinny poles that like are just a pain in the butt. I learned my lesson, but I'm still suffering the consequences of that for some of my plants that are still on these skinny poles. So in order to get it onto a nicer, thick pole, something sturdy, I'm going to have to probably propagate this and start it over again, which kind of sucks, but is also kind of nice in a way because I can get a nice like full, I mean, I do have do I have 2 vines in here? Yeah, I do have 2 vines in here right now. But I'll do that again. I'll do 2 or 3 vines, and it's just going to be so much better having it on a nice sturdy pole that isn't falling over, that I can actually like keep moist. So it'll be worth it in the long run, but it is kind of sad to be saying goodbye to this nice big, I know, it's just, I'm looking at it in the viewfinder and I know it looks so ridiculous because it's so sad looking right now, but this plant is quite magnificent when it's not completely droopy. Like, oh my goodness, I love Amydrium medium so much. I can't believe it's putting out a new leaf. I did not even notice that. Yeah, as long as you give them something to climb, they're pretty darn happy. If you like Philodendron and Monstera, you will like this plant. It's just something a little bit different, so I really love it. It's the only Amydrium that I have, which I think is kind of fun, just to have like only one plant from that family. Makes me appreciate it even more. So yeah, at some point this year, actually probably sometime soon, maybe after that new leaf comes out, I'm going to be completely disassembling this, chopping, propagating, and we are just going to be starting from scratch, baby. So yeah, looking forward to it, even though it is kind of like bittersweet whenever you're completely chopping up a plant that's grown to be pretty big. So yeah, that's the story on that one. Okay, the next one. I'm very excited about this one. This is another one that just like looks sad. I know. What is going on with my plants? Yeah, I have nothing to say for myself. So this is my Calathea Warshawixii, another one of my favorite plants, definitely my favorite Calathea of all time. It's also known as the jungle velvet, is that what it is? I think so. It's a very soft Calathea. I love it so much. I think that it's so gorgeous. These can get pretty freaking big. So my goal is to like actually really try to get this to be a nice plant this year. I want to see how big I can get it. I want to see just like how nice of a pot I can grow this into, and it's actually doing relatively well right now. I mean, despite like, yes, we do have this leaf. It did suffer a little while ago, but it's bounced back pretty well. You can see we have a new leaf coming in. That one actually looks like it's going to be pretty big. But I just really want to see this plant do well this year. I have been wanting to see this plant do well for a while, but I just like finally feel like I really want to focus my attention onto here. I want to get it into a nicer pot. I want to give it the best conditions that I can and just see what I can have it looking like by the end of the year. Whenever I see big ones of this, I'm just like, oh my goodness, I really, really want that. So this is going to be the year, you guys, that we are on our way to that. So yeah, really excited to just see what I can do with this one. And if you have any Calathea tips, leave them down below in the comments, because honestly, I don't really have Calathea in my collection. Like, is that the only one? I think that that's literally my only Calathea. So any Calathea specific information that you have, I would really, really appreciate, because I don't know a ton about them, to be honest. when it comes to specific things like the potting mix that they like, fertilizing that they like, stuff like that. I don't really know. So if you know, let me know. Next, I'm going to be talking about my Philodendron subhastatum. So this is just my regular green one. These have beautiful red undersides. That's kind of like their thing that they're known for. And I also have a variegated version of this plant, which has grown a lot, you guys. Like, look at her. She is doing so well. This plant is kind of funny because I didn't know that I had a variegated one. I had a bunch of like wet stick propagations of this and they all started growing, and I thought that they all were sick. I was like, why are these coming out so like weird and splotchy looking? Because I thought I had just chopped up a regular subhastatum. When I chopped it, it was an import that was pretty much dead, so I guess I just couldn't even tell that it was variegated when I was like cutting the original plant up. Anyway, so all these babies grew and they had this variegation, and I had just never really seen a variegated version of this before, so I had no idea what was going on. And then y'all commented on a video that I was talking about it, and you guys were like, that's variegated. And I was like, no freaking way. So shook. So yeah, I have a variegated subhastatum, and it's grown a lot since that video. Like, it was pretty small. Like, these were the size of the leaves when I was talking about it in the summertime, when y'all had identified it for me. And like, just the newest leaf, like, are you kidding me? That is so gorgeous. Like, how cool is this plant? So the reason that I'm talking about them both is because I'm thinking of putting these in a pot and doing a mixed pot of both of them, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know, I kind of like mixed pots. Like, I'm kind of getting into that a little bit more. I have a couple mixed pots. Like, I have my variegated Hoya bellas, the inner and the outer potted together. And then I have my Dark Lord and my Silver Sword in a pot together, which I think is really cool just to see the contrast. So there's a couple of reasons. One is to conserve space, and two is just because I think it's fun. So I'm thinking of taking some propagations from this plant, because obviously it's like way bigger, but I'm thinking of taking some propagations from this one and then potting both of my subhastatums together. So that's kind of my goal, and then just growing them out and like really focusing on this plant, because I just feel like the subhastatum is very underrated. These can actually get really big, cool leaves. And I feel like I don't see them in like their like larger form very often. Like, when people have them, I usually see them around this size, which is cool, but I would just love to see larger leaves. It's just not something that I see people have a lot. I feel like it's just different and cool, and I would just love to see what this plant can become, you know? So this is a philodendron that I'm specifically going to be focusing on for 2023, both of these, I guess. So yeah, I'm really excited to update you guys on my progress, and hopefully we will have some big leaves one day. Okay, just grabbed a new batch of plants to talk about. So the first one, or what number are we on? Okay, goal number 6 is regarding my Anthurium magnificum luxurians hybrid, which is this gal right here. This is one of my favorite Anthurium that I own. I love the texture, I love the sheen, yeah, everything about this. It's super, super easygoing. So I was kind of thinking about an overarching goal of just putting more effort into my Anthurium and trying to keep up with watering. This is my problem with Anthurium. I find that they're so much less forgiving with underwatering than something like Philodendron or Monstera. Like, you really have to stay on top of it. This one actually has been very forgiving, but for the most part, I've noticed that that's the, part of the reason that Anthurium don't do as well for me. But this year, I really want to just try to keep up with them a little bit better. I chose this one specifically because I just really want to see how big I can grow this out. Yeah, I just want to see how well it can do for me. Like I said, it's one of my favorites, so that's why I kind of wanted to choose this one to really focus on. You can see we do have a new leaf on the way. Like, how precious. Oh my goodness. This is probably my second favorite Anthurium in my collection. My number one favorite is my Anthurium pallidiflorum. But yeah, this would probably be coming in hot in the number 2 spot. I think it is just so gorgeous, and like I said, it's been so easy. So yeah, really want to focus on this guy. Can't wait to see how big it gets by the end of the year. Next, this one is a bit of a repeat from last year, but goal number 7 is to continue to create a more full pot of Hoya linearis, and I really made good progress, I feel, on this goal in 2022, but I just really want to keep going with it, really focusing on it. I'm going to be doing a lot of chopping and propping again this year, and we'll see how lush this pot is by the end of the year. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot, but I really want a full plant of this, and I do have like a lot of the propagations that I've added into here are starting to grow now, so I have a lot of vines that have active growth, and it's actually super long. I'll take a clip of me holding this up and you can see like the full length of it, and I'll insert it into the video. But yeah, one of my favorite trailing plants, and I am once again going to be focusing on it for this year. Number 9 is regarding my Philodendron narrow, which I've been talking about a lot recently just because I don't know, I'm just so excited about this plant right now. I have recently got it onto this moss pole, which is what my goal is for this year, is to grow it up the moss pole. I don't know how far up I'll be able to get it, maybe to the top, honestly. We'll see. It's already rooted. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that there was so many roots in here. There is like 4. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you can see it's rooting into the moss pole, which I was very excited about, but you can actually see multiple. Okay, so there's 1 there, but then there's more. There's 2 there. There's even 1 over here. Like, oh my goodness. She is like fully in there. That is so, so cool. Yeah, so this has been a project that I've been really excited about just because you don't often see these climbing. And you guys, I'm shocked at the leaf size that I'm getting already. This is the most recent leaf, obviously, and like looking at it in comparison to the size of the other ones, it is just so freaking massive. So I can only imagine what this plant is going to be looking like by the time it gets to the top of this pole. I'm so excited about this project. So yeah, this is definitely a focus, and one that I'm just like really feeling motivated and really wanting to stay on top of the care for throughout this year. Yeah, I just think it's so cool, and I really like highlighting and talking about and focusing on a plant that is really common and accessible for people. So if anybody wants to, you know, do the same thing as me, people can easily pick this plant up. So yeah, I really love that. We'll see how big I can get this plant by the end of the year. Okay, next I'm going to be talking about a plant that I like never talk about. I actually received a comment recently of somebody saying, oh, you should try to grow Scindapsus exotica, and I was like, bestie, I have tried. So it might be a little bit surprising that I'm whipping this plant out, and I know it's thirsty right now. I'm so sorry. I'm watering it tonight. It's completely fine. It's just thirsty. So this is actually one of my favorite plants when it comes to looks. Like, I love the way that the leaves look. I'll show you my favorite leaf on this plant. Oh my goodness, this one. It is so, so pretty. Like, that silver, are you kidding me? I mean, it doesn't look amazing right now because of how thirsty it is, but yeah, it is just such a pretty plant, and the size of these leaves, like the leaves get really big. It's just gorgeous. So this didn't grow for me for so long, but now that it's finally growing, like every time I look at it, there's a new leaf coming in, which is surprising because I've struggled with this so much, but suddenly it's just started growing for me. So I've decided that this is the year that I'm going to just really attempt to get a nice full pot of this. I know it looks awful right now, I know, don't judge me, okay? It's been a rough month. I have thirsty plants, I have plants that are not doing well, but I have faith that I am going to be able to possibly get a nice lush pot of this. I plan to chop these vines up, propagate, and just create a more full pot, and hopefully it will continue to grow for me like it has been. I know it looks a little leggy and weird, but yeah, it's all a work in progress, right? So I think that this plant is really gonna have a transformation this year, and yeah, I'm just I'm very excited about it. This may finally be the year that I have a nice full pot of Scindapsus exotica, which is all I've wanted for like so many years, but it's just never cooperated with me before. Okay, and then lastly, I kind of just threw this goal in on a whim because this caught my eye. Well, I was thinking like I like to have a Hoya bloom goal in these videos. Last year it was my Crimson Princess. She did not end up blooming for me. We'll see if it happens this year. But this year I think that the one I want to try to get a bloom on is my variegated Hoya Bella. So this is another mixed pot. I have both the inner variegated and the outer variegated in here. Now this plant has struggled for such a long time until recently. After I did the sulfur treatments, it started growing again, so I have a lot of new branches of growth right now, which is very exciting. So I think that this plant is going to actually start doing well for me, and I would love to see it bloom. I used to have just the green Hoya Bella and it bloomed for me like crazy. They're known as being very easy bloomers and very like frequent bloomers as well when it comes to Hoya. So I don't know if the variegated one like blooms as easily as the green one, but I feel like it's a reasonable goal for me to get a bloom on this gal this year. So I hope that it happens. I think I'm going to be chopping and creating a more full pot because it's just a little sparse and weird at the top. So this one's definitely going to get a bit of a makeover as well. But yeah, hopefully, you know, maybe spring or summer I will get some blooms on this. I guess we will see. I would just love that so much. I love Hoya Bella very much. Alright, I guess we have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about my goals. Share any knowledge or tips that you have that could help assist me in caring for these plants that you've seen in this video and reaching my goals. I'm so excited to keep you guys updated throughout the year, and now you get a little sneak peek at some projects that are upcoming, which is very fun. I hope that y'all are doing so well. I would also love to hear which plants you're focusing on for this year. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much again to Harry's for sponsoring this video. Don't forget you can pick up your razor starter set for just $5 if you go to harrys.com/wildfern. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!